So welcome to today. I'm Christine.
I'm Liz.
And we are Double D-Fense. We're an all-female New York Rangers podcast, bringing you fun conversation about our New York Rangers, the NHL and hockey, and so much more. Thank you for joining us.
Well, hello, Christine.
Well, hi again.
Hi.
It's fun, huh?
This has been quite the week. And welcome to Double D-Fense. For those of you just joining us, we are your all-female New York Rangers hockey podcast, here to share all of the ups and downs, and there's been some downs this week, of what's happening with the Rangers. But we wanted to kick off today with a very, very special presentation. I know that I've been obsessed with Wicked. I think Christine has also.
I've seen it. With Matt. Well. So Matt, we both saw it together this weekend.
And if you've been a regular listener of the podcast, you know we like Christmas poems, we like song parodies. So we have a very special version of Defying Gravity that our good friend of the podcast, Elena, is here to share with us today. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I just want to say, for the record, I was going to sing this, and then I decided I didn't want to make it painful for everybody.
Well, thankfully you didn't choose me.
Rehearsing all afternoon.
Hard for me too. So I'm very excited.
So this is called Defying Mediocrity for the New York Rangers.
Something has changed for the Rangers. Something is not the same. They cannot score or defend when playing this old hockey game. Too late to trade the captain. Too late to give Kreider the seat. It's time to get rid of Miller. Shoot the puck to lead. It's time to try to find mediocrity. I think it's time to define mediocrity, and dumb penalties won't pull us down. Can't I make Pete understand? He's having delusions of grandeur. He has to accept the limits. That Shesterkin's just so. Lingering Fox, you cannot trade. But Trouba now has got to go. Too long he's been afraid of changing lines and taking shots. And if that means keeping Mika, comes at much too high a cost. It's time to try to find mediocrity. Cooley's stick is high. Mediocrity, and we are feeling down.
Woo! Yes! That was beautiful.
It wasn't 100%, but I feel like it's acceptable.
I think
that
was
beautiful.
Elena was screaming her voice out at the Ohio-Michigan game.
I know what it's like.
Week.
I know what it's like to lose some crap games. I get it.
So did you feel that? Did you feel that in your heart?
I did. I felt it in my heart. I know what it's like for a team to take a dive and hope we win the playoffs. We'll see what happens.
We're in the same boat. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
all have that hope, right?
Enjoy.
Thank you. Well, everyone, that was our good friend of the podcast, Elena, and I hope that song expresses just a little bit of how we are feeling right now as Rangers fans. It has been a rough week.
Yeah, we've been kind of.
How's the optimist feeling?
Look, I'm fine. Matt and I were kind of talking about it. And we're seeing it across some of the other podcasts too. Like, their topics are, is it time to hit the panic button? Is it time? What? And we were kind of talking, when do you get concerned? When is it a concerning time? And I'm not there yet.
I'm there. We just did a song parody of Wicked about how bad the Rangers are doing. I've flown off the deep end. So
look, we gotta see if they lose to the lower teams this weekend. We got two, and we got Pittsburgh, and then you got the Kraken, and then you got the Blackhawks. So
yeah.
and it was interesting with Matt. Like, I think I was kind of comparing some of the standings, and we're kind of dropped down. I don't even know where we're at right now. Below 15. And so, and we were talking, and he's right too. It's like, that, like, those don't matter. He's like, as long as we make the playoffs and we're in those standings, and right now we're in a wild card spot. So I don't have concern. So if we were to fall out of that wild card spot or create a big gap in points between the wild card and third place, then by the time we hit the All-Star break, then I'd hit my little panic button, be like, meh, I mean, it's not really even a panic button. It is what it is. If they continue this way, do I think something's going to happen between now and then? Yes.
When you say something's going to happen, like a trade or a firing or something like that?
I don't think a firing. I think a trade would be in store. Since they already lit the fire under that, it's still potential. So, who would be? I don't know. But they're going to have to make quick changes, because I think they know too. Like, again, once you come back from the All-Star break, it's just, it's
the four nations break this year.
Yeah, I know. So I just posted that.
I saw that. And that is something. The Four Nations, I'll be honest, I'm very excited about it. I think that's going to be, that's sort of the one thing that's keeping me sort of sane right now, is thinking about how fun that's going to be. And we have a couple of familiar names in there.
We do, actually. We've got Kreider and Trocheck
and
Fox playing for USA. And then you also have Mika playing for Sweden, and
your bestie, yeah,
and he's playing for Finland. So so that will be kind of fun. And right now, USA is at 67% on our poll. So they're going for that. So that'll be fun. I like this format. Kind of looking forward to seeing that, and that'll come up quick enough. So we have a lot of days in between now and then. We still have to plan our Vegas trip, which is happening. So really, it's super, super quick as we're in December now. So we're literally probably only 5 weeks away from that Ranger game.
Yeah, the end of the year is coming fast, and it's funny. These games are going to start coming real fast too. I know the Rangers have a couple of days off. Do you think that having these few days off between games is a good thing for them right now, or not a good thing?
No, I think what I was saying is no, I don't think so. I don't know what, when you kind of watch and you kind of look and analyze, I don't know. I was telling you, and I kind of put it on the board too, because people are like, oh, what happened? Why are we not bringing Rempe up to motivate everybody? And they're kind of making fun of him, but I'm like, he's the kind of energy that I want to see this team have. He forget the fighting part. I know that he does that, but he brings the physicality to the game that I don't know why they're not being more physical. They need to be more physical, and he brings fun. He's just happy to be there. And with these last couple of games, when they pan across the bench, they all look like they're at a funeral, like they're ready to cry.
I don't know if you caught it. I don't know if you caught it in the last game, but they panned across. I think Miller. It was when Miller had hit. He hit the post, and he didn't score. So they panned across him, and you could see what he was saying. And Sam Rosen literally said, "Hey kids, like, don't read lips right now," because you could tell exactly what choice phrases he had. But you're right. They all look miserable. This is very reminiscent of, I think, January of last year, when they were going through that same downward slump, and it felt like it would never be over. So I'm trying to stay with you. I think you're right about the next few games being very telling. So if they can at least get a couple of wins on the board, playing teams that they should beat.
And I'll tell you, we don't want to see a 1-point win. We really want to see them taking shots against Pittsburgh. Is challenging, but let's push forward to the Kraken and the Blackhawks. And again, none of these teams, like every single one of these teams win, so if they lose to any of the teams, it doesn't mean they're losing to a bad team, but it's what's making them lose. Now, if these teams are still at the bottom, they're still learning, and they're like not as regrouped as the other teams are. And we should be able to take advantage of that situation, capitalize on it, and beat them this weekend with these two games on was it Sunday, Monday, right? And so, and I don't want to see like a 1-point game. I want to see like a differential in there, like 3-1, 4-1 kind of a thing. So we are looking probably to see Quick in at least one of those games, which would be fantastic because he's 2 wins away from his milestone. Let's put positivity on this. I mean,
I actually hope we see him on Friday. I'm hoping that's a game that they put him in against.
No, they're gonna have. I mean, I don't know why they would. Because
I mean, Shesterkin did not.
The
lyrics of "Defying Mediocrity" were true. I mean, Shesterkin's not been playing.
I don't think it's his problem.
It's but it is part. I mean, it's partially his problem.
No, I mean, the goals are going to get in. He stops most of them, which is good, And so, but they're really like it really is showing defense. It's showing defense. I mean, look, the other game they took a lot of shots and they still didn't win. So it's not like they're getting chances. We're watching them get chances. They're hitting the post. They're hitting the net. They're getting
the side of the net.
Getting weird penalties.
Literally, yeah.
They're getting weird calls. They're getting missed calls. I mean, when we're watching from the TV and the different angles we can see all that's happening, which is different from what they're seeing down there. So. What's not working? And they're still changing lines. That's what I don't like. Is why is he still changing the ball lines? I think that just messes everybody up every time. I don't like it. But that's a coach thing. So we'll see we'll see if he changes up all these lines, and I think that's part of it. I don't think we've had all these moving parts since the beginning, and. You got to give it more than one game to give it a chance to see if it works. So,
okay, if you had to trade, if one person had to go, who is it in your opinion? And I'm not talking about whether or not it's a realistic trade, if we could get somebody for him or whatever it is. One person had to go. Who are you loathing the most? Who is your unadulterated loathing?
It would probably be between Trouba and Miller. So, that's it. So, but you know what I told you last week too? It's like, for these games coming up, I'm like, just pull the goalie. Just let them learn to play defense. They're going to have to step it up. I don't know why they don't do that. Everyone's crying, like, take Shesterkin out, take all the goalies out. You want to learn to play defense? Don't play without a goalie. Let's see.
It just seems like the defensive move that I've seen them do now in every game. We've talked about this before. It's just like somebody flopping down on the ice. It doesn't seem to be strategic. They don't seem to be cohesive in the play. And that's where I think the other teams are capitalizing and taking advantage of them.
They are. Their moves seem to be becoming very predictable. And so I think that's what the better teams are seeing. So it's making it easy for them to do. Look, they're scoring within the first 2 minutes of every game.
Yeah.
Every game, it's like, let's make some bets on that. Like it's, every time they score, it's 18-29 or 17.
Yeah, I know. By the time I even have the guys, I'm like, oh, it's. I know.
By the time you figure out it's on, boom, it's already.
The other day, by the time I turned it on, I'm like, it's 2-0. Like, how did that happen? So, we have to laugh about it because otherwise we'll cry. But
it is what it is. Like everyone, like I'm seeing people like, I'm out of here. This team sucks. I'm like, well, bye, see ya. And it'll be interesting because I know we're going to be talking to another podcast on Sunday. Now, she's a fan of a team that's at the bottom, and it
has been for a while.
This will be interesting discussion. I know she's going to ask us questions, but I really want to kind of get her perspective of being a fan from a team that has been at the bottom. Yeah. For more than a week, so, and that's hard, like, how are you going to stay a true fan? What's optimistic about your team?
I'll tell you, it gets really hard because on the baseball side, I grew up a Yankees fan. I'm still a Yankees fan, but ever since I moved to California, I've been an Angels fan, and the Angels arguably are the Rangers of the West Coast Baseball League because they have the best, at least at the time, not anymore, but they have the two best players in all of baseball on the same team, and they could not even make the playoffs. And, as a fan, you go, you know what? I spent all this money on jerseys and shirts and cool things and going to games. And after a while, when you get nothing back, it starts to get really hard to justify that expense. And, I don't think the Rangers are there yet. They're too much an integral part of New York. But as a fan, you can understand the levels of disappointment.
Christine, I don't know about you, but I love the experience. Well, I do know about you, actually. We both love the experience of watching hockey live. There's something about being in the arena, feeling the chill of the ice, watching the players live that is just the best.
It definitely is a good experience, and we do it a lot. In fact, I just did it.
Yeah, you were just in New York, right?
I was in New York a few times celebrating. So yeah, from the home opener, which was fantastic, to hitting up a couple games ad hoc, it's been really fun. So look, when I'm in New York, one of the best things to do is I'll wait till last minute to get game tickets, and I will go to Game Time app to look for the tickets. We did that for Florida too. It's great because you have an all one view of the best prices and the best seats in the house. They always have deals, which is great too. And their deals are really good. I've kind of gotten us tickets to Vegas and New York games on some of those deal prices that they have.
Yeah. And Game Time also has tickets for absolutely everything, not just hockey. They have concerts, they have everything. And they have a new feature called Game Time. They have a new thing called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier, filters out all the fluff. So you only get incredible deals on great seats.
That's the best. And they have the all-in pricing is really a key. And I think Game Time is one of the leaders in doing that too, because you don't want to get to your checkout, and we've all done this on other ones, where you're ready to pay and it's double the price. So the all-in pricing just shows you what you're looking at, and again, all in one view, which is my favorite.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm on the Game Time app now, and I could look up. I know we're talking about going to the Vegas Golden Knights Rangers game coming up soon. So all I have to do is open the app, search Vegas Golden Knights or New York Rangers, up come the seats. I can just click on any game that I want, and it will show me all-in pricing. It'll show me the view that I will get from my seat. It's really awesome. It's a super deal.
Our challenge is how many can we get in the same section, because our group keeps growing and growing. So they do have that too, from single seats to group seats there too. So
it looks like we can get up to 18 tickets. So for our friends who are listening, we'll all coordinate and we'll all figure out where we're going to be sitting for Vegas Golden Knights, New York Rangers coming up.
18.
Yeah. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
It's game time. Hey guys, the 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell for a little bit longer, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. So it's super easy for first-time users to get started on DraftKings Sportsbook. Just try betting on something like your team winning. So, and if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. All new customers, you just bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive award. Bonus bets expire 1
Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved.
Right now, they're still in a wild card spot, and there's plenty of games to go. So it doesn't, it's nothing. The word, I guess, could be
I think it's not even that they're losing. I don't think it's even that they're losing. It's that when we watch these games, like they don't even seem like they're enjoying being there.
I know.
Like you're getting paid $8 million to like play your favorite sport. You don't want to be
and then their interviews.
Yeah.
The saddest thing. I don't think I can talk more than this, but we just need to play better against our team, and not hit each other, and maybe look at the puck and score. I know that they're all in like Mika tone now, having their little quiet moment interviews.
I've been thinking of you every time I've watched one of the interviews because they all sound the same. It's exactly.
I'm like, it's all sad and sappy, and I'm like, but who died? I'm like, stop. I'm like,
especially Mika with his big, like, puppy dog sad eyes. It's like the most heartbreaking thing to watch him do one of those post-game interviews. It's like somebody literally killed his puppy.
I feel like there's a sign behind them that's like, you're not allowed to talk higher than this right now. It's like ASMR. We're in the locker room there. But to your point too, like and I think this is what's frustrating me too, is look, in the last year and the year before, when people were complaining that they weren't, showing up or whatever, they would at least go back. They knew what they did wrong. They would say it, they're like, okay, we did. And they would come back and you could see something different.
Yeah. They would try to fix it.
We're not seeing that. So I think it's also a combination of the line moves. Look, we had Kreider actually out for a couple games. These are most of the losing games, and Hedl was out too. And then they both came back, and it was an easy game, and they won. And we're like, yay, we ended the streak. So they're going to win and lose. We just don't want to see streaks. So I think Pittsburgh's pivotal. The other thing that I don't like seeing, and we were talking about, you sent me this yesterday or today, right? And I'm seeing this with their team, North Carolina and with Devils, is like they're scoring on us and they're showboating the goals like I've never seen. It's just a level of sportsmanship I don't like. I know that like people are out to get the Rangers and win against the Rangers and do that, but usually there's more of a happy kind of fanfare thing. And these guys are like, they're really digging in.
Totally. The Hurricanes did that especially. They were like waving, and they were waving at the crowd. I think it's like the Rangers got a bad reputation for maybe having fans that were more loud or aggressive than other fans, but I don't think it's a deserved reputation at all. And I think that I
backfired against the Devils when I heard that Ric Flair woo across Madison Square Garden. I'm like, I don't know what you guys did, but you allowed too many Devil fans into MSG. You guys failed. You failed. The fans failed.
Well, you could hear a pin drop by the end of that game. So
I know, and you see the fans like jumping up and like trying to rile the crowd, like in their little Devil section. So they took advantage of it, and so that's a trend too. So everyone's enjoying. Well, everyone else is enjoying watching these guys kind of continue to kind of go in this downward spiral. I
guess the good thing though is it is so early in the season. There's plenty of time to self-correct, and man, does the world love a good comeback story. So maybe this is what the Rangers need to do. They hit rock bottom early in the season, and all they can do is go up from there.
Like each one of these teams has their little streaks, so everyone needs to calm their roll. Like just relax. Unless you're betting on this game, you all should have a life, and I know some of these people online don't. So they have nothing to do but complain. But just go in and just enjoy it. I mean, we got to see. I want to see kind of some steadiness in the lines. Right now, we're all good, right? Everybody's healthy, I think, and playing. Right. And so, we have the new kid. I'm really sad. Like this kid comes out. I love it.
Yeah.
And then he gets dinged up and then he gets injured, and I'm like, this poor kid, I'm like, I really wanted to see him against the Devils because I'm like, I think he's got some Jack Hughes
energy. Yeah. Counter energy.
Yeah, and so and that was sad that he was and then again like sitting VC like that, like VC was I think was a good kid to have on the ice, against Devils.
Consistent.
So, I don't know. Those are coaching choices, so I don't know what it's a combination of things, and I don't know. They just came out. They came out of the season kind of changing things up, bringing the kids up, bringing them, putting them down, bringing them back up, keeping a couple there. And it's just that kind of quick moves and quick decisions I think don't help anything, and they haven't. So so they just need to kind of get out there, do extra practices, do what they're and then just kind of they just really need to get their acts together and maybe do some different moves. Like again, my thought of Chris being right in front of the net. He doesn't need to be a screener. He's too talented to stand there.
Yeah, and the Mika one-timers, they just keep missing anyway. So
I know that too.
Shoot them all, right?
Chicks doing it.
Yeah. It's just it's
I'll tell you something. Pick up and watch one of the girls' teams play, the women's teams. We sat and watched the first game. So the season started this week, and Matt and I went and watched the Sirens play the Frost. So the Frost won the Walter Trophy at the end of the year. We were watching the playoffs on the plane. So so this is their first matchup, and it was a freaking good game. Look, the Frost came off, had first it was like 2-0. They had 20 shots on goal. The Sirens had like 8, but the Sirens scored again, and it ended up. And these were good goals, and then it went into overtime, and the Sirens scored with 13 seconds or 19 seconds into the overtime to win the game. So and when you watch these women play, they are like I'm like, look, our team could learn a few things, with the way that they're taking the shots, sticking around and getting their rebounds and to get another shots in. It's fun to watch the women play, take a shot, get their own rebound and score. And they have some sweet, sweet shots. So this has been a fun start to their season. And look, if you guys, anyone's listening that have not watched a PWHL game, they're free on YouTube for the United States. I know they changed it up in Canada. So if you're in Canada and watching us internationally, that's fantastic. But you have other ways to watch the games up there. But they're free on YouTube. There's games every day. And I know that they coincide a lot with our games. They start at the same time. But put it on during the intermission. If your team's losing, switch it over and watch them. They're very entertaining and they're really good, So, and watching some of their moves, all you can think about is like, yeah, I wish Quick would do that. I wish Igor would do that. I wish Trouba wouldn't do that, And so it's very fun and it's fun to compare. And I think the guys could learn a few things from these women.
Do you think it's more a difference in strategy, or is it just just because the nature of the game is different physically? Like what advantage do the women have?
Well, they can't do they're not as distracted, although they want to be. So they're not as distracted with more they're not allowed to check. They can't be fighting. They do. They get heated.
I've seen some pushes and shoves. Nothing. They're not dropping the gloves.
So they don't. So they're more focused on playing. But yeah, it gets heated and stuff, and they still have the same emotions playing the sport. But they're not allowed to be checking. And that you can see them get into some good things there, but they can't be doing that. They want to. There were some interviews going on where it's like, if you could change one thing, what would it be? And they're like, well, they want to be checking. They want to be more physical. That's what they're there for. That's what they, they've kind of learned and practiced their whole lives to do that. So, and they can. They're that physical to be able to do that. So, but that allows your skill level to be just a little bit more honed in because you're less distracted by the other things. You know. So. And that just, I don't know, that makes it, you got to pick it up and you got to check it out. One of the games, they're just fascinating. Their rules are more fun too. So I think we were talking about, they have, they get 3 points for a win, none for a loss, and 2 for a tie, and 1 for a tie loss. So that, and in last season, their first season, there were so many tie games. So the scores were pretty close and kind of evened out. They have a jailbreak rule, and this really works for them. So the jailbreak rule is if you get a penalty and you score shorthanded, you break your free, your guy free from the penalty box. And they do get the breakaways and they do score. It's fantastic. And so the new rule this year too is if you get a penalty, you can't change your men on the ice. So they have to stay on the ice till the next whistle blows. And so that kind of proves to be a good thing too, because when you leave the same men, women on the ice, they're tired. They could have been on there for a long shift. So what we were watching and we were seeing was if there was a delayed call, they were scrambling to change their, to change players before the whistle blew. So now they have to strategize. The coach has to call them off, or they have to strategize a little bit more on that. But that's an interesting new rule for this year too, in watching their the way they play. So I just like it. And it's actually refreshing when your team isn't doing well and they're doing the same old, and they're just not getting it. This is refreshing to watch. So,
and now all the teams have their names, their logos, brand new jerseys, brand new looks. And it looks like the games are getting some good attendance also.
These games are packed. So, and they have, and I will have to find it and kind of post it, but they have takeovers. So I think they have 6 or 7 games where they're going to play, each other somewhere else, like in a NHL arena somewhere in a different city, to kind of expand it out a little bit more for the season, which is really exciting too. So they're not just playing in their arenas, they're selling out their arenas. So they keep having to move them to other ones. And we are looking at having them expand for next year. So I think they're looking at bringing 2 other teams into maybe the Midwest United States area for next year. So it'll go from 6 to 8, which is exciting too. So that's how much attention they're bringing. Their merch is exciting and growing. And in fact, it's funny because we'll have Matt on to give us an update on West Coast stuff and PWHL stuff. But he's, he was a fan of Minnesota. And he's like, I don't know if I'm a fan of them, and so much anymore. So he's still trying to decide and see who, like.
I'm curious his logic. Yeah, his logic on that.
Yeah, I mean they're all good. They're all exciting, and what I love on their social media too is if you follow any of them on Instagram, they're all 6 teams are really in sync with each other. So when there's something that comes out, they all kind of do it together. When it's game day, they each team playing does their game day thing the same time. They're really so in sync with each other. They do really well. So it's kind of fun to kind of follow them and like their first goals and so we're going to start seeing their stats building for their second year. We're going to start seeing some of these players kind of really start to outshine and see who the top players are, like going into the second season. So they did have a lot of changes. Some of the women didn't come back, and they have new players. So there is a shift. There's a lot more women, FYI, that play hockey than there are the 6 teams. So that's really interesting because they are fighting, to get their positions on their teams, which is good. So it'll be exciting to see how this season runs its course and how they compare to the men. I mean, some of these women play really good. I want to see them playing more again, against some guys, which would be more exciting, to see too. So, I'm bringing a little scrimmage on, against one of these NHL teams. I really want to see how they do.
That would be fascinating to watch. To really, well, that's exciting, and it's nice to know. It's nice to remind ourselves that that the Rangers are not the be all and end all of our sports entertainment.
Take a break and go watch the Sirens. If you guys live there, drive up and watch them in person. Throw on YouTube. Again, it's free and easily available to watch. And they even have a chat feature, which is really kind of fun too. So if you want to get involved, put on the chat feature and chat away, with the strangers out there and enjoy that, because that's kind of fun. That's the way Matt, watch it. And of course, since he's my child, he has to show me everything. Like, we got to look at this. We got to do this. we went over to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the game, and it was Sunday. So we went there right kind of after the football games ended. And, so we asked the guy, can you put on we want to put on a hockey game. And Matt had the channel ready and everything. And the guy tells us, yeah, we don't usually put other sports on Sunday. And I'm like, well, you're a sports bar and you're going to do it right now. And the guy kind of looked at me and I'm like, and if you come back and tell me no, then you can bring your manager with me. And Matthew was embarrassed. But the guy came and not only did he, but we wanted to, he's like, because Matthew's like, well, what about that channel that has like bowling on it? Or was it horses? It was something stupid. And it was like, it wasn't even live. It was like, why don't you put it on that channel? And they ended up putting on a big TV. So, and then the joke was, because what did they have? Oh, it was like, they're telling us that they don't put any other sport on except for football on Sunday. But then we turn around and look and one TV's got like lacrosse on it,
Yeah.
Or
that weird like indoor cricket game that we were watching.
Oh my God.
They're just making up sports at this point, but it's good because it's spreading the word. It really is. So that is all good. That's really good to hear.
So yeah, because not only was it on YouTube, but it was also on MSG. So that was a fun game to watch. So we were able to sit and watch that at Buffalo Wild Wings. And and we had to miss overtime to make our way over to Wicked. So it was a bonus day. It was like our Thanksgiving day.
There was a lot going on that day. Well, that's super exciting. And I always appreciate the time that we get to spend together on this podcast because I was feeling the stress because I get sucked into the Twitter comments and the nonstop YouTubes. I literally fell asleep last night listening.
I'm like arguing with people and having fun with them on the other side on Facebook.
I think I like literally fell asleep with like people in my ear screaming about how like Laviolette needs to get fired and this and that. So it's been a lot of just an emotional
all the problems. Like all these things that trade, like, everyone's been talking about trade them. But for what? I mean, we were talking about this last time too. Like no one's coming back saying we need this or we need this. So look, if someone's going to go out, you got to bring someone in or it's going to get worse. So at least have a solution, dummies, and not just, bitch and cry about it, which is really all they do, which is fine. I want to send a good note. So the other day it was the Garden of Dreams and it was the cutest thing. So like they had the kids that they sponsor and, for scholarships and stuff. But one of the cutest things was watching that kid come out and sing the national anthem. I mean, I was like in tears watching it. It was the sweetest thing. He was like 18 years old and his voice cracked a little bit, but he had the time of his life, enjoyed it. And it was so great. And so props to that kid, props to Garden of Dreams and the Rangers for doing what they do. Because even though the game was not good, the kids were, the cause was amazing. And you should let other people, bid on your stuff. And, that if we don't live in New York, because I mean, I would pay for it, but I can't do it because I'm not there. So that's unfortunate. But they do raise a lot of, money, through the Garden of Dreams, for that. And that was a fun night. For that, so and we have these 3 games coming up this weekend. So,
these 10 a.m. weekend starts are killing me though. So being based on the West Coast. So it's a Friday 4:30 p.m. kickoff for us, 7:30 Eastern, 10 a.m. on Sunday against the Kraken. But we have. Next weekend's going to be tough for a lot of reasons. December 22nd, Rangers play the Hurricanes, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. The next day on December 23rd, 10 a.m., they're against the Devils. So back-to-back morning games.
Well, maybe that might be good because they all like coffee and it should all be in their bloodstreams, like really nice and early, So I've seen them all walk in with their coffee, just double shot it up and go, man, I have to think of drink pairings for the early morning games. I don't mind. I don't mind the games because I got my coffee
with other stuff.
I got my Bloody Mary stuff, it's good, So, and if it's rainy or cold, I mean, if it gets, I know it's cold at other places. It's getting a little chilly,
a little chilly here too. I'm not going to lie.
In the mornings it's cold. It was in the 70s today, so can't drink it too much. Although
we're delicate flowers here now.
so
well, on
Friday I'm gonna miss, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't really want to watch the Penguins anyway. I'll kind of look at it on my phone, I think. But that
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah,
posted for sure. And then on Saturday the 14th, they're taking on the Kings, but it will be on the East Coast. And
that's right. What time is that game?
It's a 10 a.m. Yeah.
And dude, I got that. So the Army Navy football game is on that day.
Same
too.
time? It's on the same time?
It's early, yeah.
I was going to see if you wanted to go to like Wall Street or something, if you were going to be out in this direction.
I will be, but for that. So yeah, we have a nice little break with the Army Navy game. It's something that my parents' friends, my dad was Army and JR was Navy. So my dad and JR always had a thing where they went to, I think they went to one time, and then they watched Army Navy game. So both have since passed. And my dad passed several years ago. JR passed within the last year. So I'll be going down with my parents' friends Sue and down to her place, and we'll be watching that game together, which I think is really sweet. So we'll be down there, and then we'll all be hanging out later. So celebrating like holidays. So we'll have to. I'll have it on my phone. Something.
Yeah. There's always ways. I'll keep you updated. You keep me updated when I can't get to the game. So
these things. Yeah, like these things gotta stop interrupting our lives here.
Yeah.
I don't have much of it now. Now that I'm home, I'm like, I have two things to do. When are these games on? The both days I have two things to do.
That's always how it goes. Well, thank you, Christine. This made me feel. I feel like this was like a therapy session.
Still alive. Look, we're still alive. We're still in a playoff position. Just like Matt, like focus just on our division. Don't look at anything else. I agree with that because I tend to look at the numbers. I'm more number oriented, stat oriented, but just focus right now and seeing where we're at there. And yeah, and we can be concerned. We can't do anything about it, so watch, don't watch. Again, if you're getting frustrated, throw in, go to YouTube, watch the women's game. It's refreshing. I think you'll like it. Maybe I'll do a poll to see if anyone's watching it and what they think, and then take a break, and then definitely kind of keep an eye on the games over this weekend. I think, look, I don't want to see just a win. I want to see a win with improvement, so that's what we'll be kind of looking for, and to see if they can kind of keep things consistent. Hopefully Laviolette keeps the line changes to a minimum, let them play and get their lines, consistent for a game or two. And let's hope that no one gets injured playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Tell Miller to stay away from Hedel. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. We really appreciate you, and we will see you next week.